Welcome back to part 2 of my developer's video blog, developing a game called Cracking Words. In this screen I'm setting up my letter tiles. Now I only need one letter tile background, which is an orange box that you see. I don't actually need all these others to be extracted. So I'm going to set up the one box on a layer of its own to be extracted by the script, and then all the other boxes on a layer that will not be extracted. So this layer is only there for visual reference in Illustrator. So the one orange box you see there will be extracted. And now I'm going to set up the bar where the sentence definition is placed. This is a word game where you're presented with a definition of a word and you have to type in the word itself from a scrambled field of letters. That checkerboard you saw earlier will be filled with letters in a scrambled fashion. So you have a timer that's ticking down, and you have to type in the words hopefully before the timer expires. And the faster you type in the words or the letters and get a correct word, the higher score you get. So here I'm arranging the clock that's going to be used as our timer. I had a bar where it would be like a progress bar next to the clock a moment ago. I didn't really like that layout, so I wanted to place the clock in a different position. Here I'm setting up the word boxes. Now these boxes will change, like you might have a 3-letter word, you might have a 5-letter word, etc. So again, for my script that I use to extract all these layers as PNG files, I only need one box for my sprite sheet that I'm going to build later. So I'm going to set up a layer here that has one layer that's going to be extracted by the script, and then the others will not. And the letters you see here are just for reference purposes. So there I have my word boxes layer set up, and it has a sublayer called letter background or whatever, I'm not sure. So now we're setting up the score box layers. Now the score boxes are just an oval shape with a gray background, and I don't need the my score and high score. I'm going to use a font for that in the code. So all I really need on that is the box, the oval box, and the rest is just a visual reference. So at this point I'm just setting up a miscellaneous layer. It's not getting extracted at all, and then I can test all the pieces here. And now I'm going to work on the clock. Now here's where I kind of went down a rabbit hole. I want the hands of the clock to rotate. And that kind of turned out to be a bit of a pain. What I ultimately decided to do was just create one layer for the clock and then one layer for the hand. And I would use code to position the hands and rotate them. So that's eventually what I ended up with, but for a few minutes here, not very much, I went back and forth trying to figure out how to. My idea was I would extract 4 layers, which would represent 4 clocks, and I would just every few seconds, I think it was like 5 seconds or whatever, I would display a different clock and give the illusion that the clock hands are turning. But because each level in the game has a different timer, so the easy level you have maybe 2 minutes per word. The hard level you might have 30 seconds per word. And then there's genius level, which could be yet even more difficult, 15 seconds, whatever. I haven't really decided on the time, but I know that I want time to be a factor as far as difficulty is concerned. So the clock will give the user a visual reference of how much time they have left. So like I said, I decided to extract just the hands and the clock separately and do the rest in code. It'd be fairly easy to do that. So here's where I start thinking, what in the heck am I doing this for? This is painful. So a little bit about the game. The game concept was created by Linda, a friend of mine. I've known her for years. And we developed another game before, a coloring book. We worked together on that. And she came to me with this idea of a word game. My background is I've been focused on, I like to create kids games so that, I have grandkids, and a lot of the games on the app stores are all about in-app purchases and money, money, money. So I wanted to start creating games that were kid-friendly. And she really likes the idea, the concept too. So we built a coloring book, and I created some concepts for other games that I want to have a list of things I want to create. And then she comes to me with an idea for, not really a kid game, more like a grown-up game that's fun and challenging. So the genesis of the game is you have categories of words that you can pick from, and you have difficulty levels. So you might have a category, say, animals or SAT words or whatever, and you have to identify the word from its definition. And so back to the screen here, and you can see where I've deleted all these other clock layers and decided to go with one layer, separate the hand from the clock. One hand will always be pointing up, and it's the second hand, this one right here, that will rotate. And hopefully I can make it rotate smoothly with with the time base. So I've got the clock set up and the layers, and I think that's about it. And I'm going to position this new clock in the correct position. There you go. So move the hand over too, because it got left out. And make sure it's lined up. It doesn't really matter here because this is just a visual reference, and the code is going to do all the alignment. And I'll have another video to discuss how the code will lay out this screen. That'll be the next video where I actually document the coding process. I'll be using, I use JavaScript, so this will be a HTML5 game. I want this game to be playable on numerous devices and possibly even Facebook itself. So the JavaScript engine is called Phaser, and you can research that on phaser.io. But I'll have a tutorial video on using Phaser with TypeScript. I use TypeScript, being an old C# developer. I like the syntax of a natural object-oriented language rather than JavaScript's view of the world. I never could wrap my brain around the function prototyping in JavaScript. So there we have it. Thank you, folks, and you have a wonderful day.